Hey guys, welcome to this film on direct proportion. But we're going to use algebra this time. So the last time we looked at proportion, we looked at the unitary method. This one's going to bring in algebra, our favourite subject. So here's our standard question. Y is directly proportional to x. When y is 5, x equals 25. Set up an equation for y in terms of x. Now what do I mean by this? I mean you need to work out what the relationship is between y and x. What we call the constant of proportionality. Now there are set steps to this method for every single question. Okay, so you'll see the same steps being repeated over and over and over again. So let's take the first step. The first thing we're going to do is deal with this top sentence. Y is directly proportional to x, this one here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to write that as a sentence but using mathematical symbols. So we can say that y is proportional to x. Now this little symbol here is the proportion symbol. I can't calculate with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace that with equals k. And then I put my x in. So the little fish symbol, the proportion symbol, gets replaced with equals k. Alright, you replace that with that. From this, I can now actually start setting an equation. Yes, I have an equation here in terms of x and y. Okay, but I don't know what k is and I'm not allowed to have it in there. So what I'm going to do is use the information they've given me in the question. I'm going to substitute it into here and it's going to give me a way to find k. So what have they told me? They've told me that y is worth 5. They've told me that just here. I don't know what k is, and there's an invisible little time sign there. And they've told me that x is worth 25. Okay. So what I'm going to have to do here is I'm going to have to work out something that multiplies by 25 to give me a value of 5. Now the quickest way of doing this is to do a division. So solve it like an equation. So I'm going to divide both sides by 25. So I've got 5 over 25 is k. Now I can cancel this. I know that k is worth therefore 1/5. Now it doesn't ask me to find k, okay, this is the constant of proportionality, this is the link that will allow me to get from any value of y to any value of x. What I need to do, if I'm going to write down the equation, is I need to rewrite it. So I go back to this equation here, and I rewrite it. So I don't know what y is. K I now know is 1/5, and I don't know what x is. So this is my equation for y in terms of x. Okay, I've replaced the k with the fifth that I found. Let's have a look at a second question. Y is directly proportional to x squared this time. When y is 10, x is 5. Find the constant of proportionality. So this time I'm not being asked for the equation, I'm just being asked for the constant, the value of k. But it starts the same way. Y is proportional to x squared. Remember, we've replaced this symbol with equals k. So actually, this is y is equal to k x squared. Same steps as before. Now, I substitute in the numbers that I've been given. So I've been told that y is 10. I don't know k. And I've been told that x is 5. And I need to solve this to find k. So I'm going to divide both sides by 5 squared. Okay, so I've got 10 divided by 25, which is going to give me 2/5. So my constant of proportionality is 2/5. If I was asked to write that as an equation, then I would write y is equal to 2/5 x squared. Because I've got this equation now, and this is what we're going to be moving on to, regardless of what value of y or x I'm given, I can now convert between the two. So if I told you that x was worth 1, you could tell me what y was. If I told you that y was worth 100, you could work out what x was. Okay, which is what we're going to go on and have a look at now. Okay, so this is the next step. You'll see that the first part of the question is exactly the same as we had worded before. Y is directly proportional to x when y is 5 and x is 10. You'll see though that we've got two extra bits now. We've got to utilise what we get to answer 2 extra questions. So we're going to deal with this bit first, and then we'll worry about that bit. So the first thing is, y is directly proportional to x. Okay, and just like before, we will do the replacement. Okay, just like before, I'm going to put in these values. So 5 is equal to k times 10. So something multiplied by 10 makes the value of 5. So in this case, I can work out that k is a half. So my equation is y is equal to 1/2 of x. Now I've got this, I can start doing this. So I can't do this bit until I've done this bit. I've used these 2 values now. I'm going to cross them out. I've used them. Okay, I'm only now interested in the values here, and this is 2 separate questions. So we're going to do part 1 first, using this. So they've told me to find the value of y when x is 7. So I put 7 into this equation. So half of 7. So when x is 7 in this instance, y is 3.5. Okay. Part 2, I do the same thing. I know the equation is a half x, but this time they've told me that y is 15. So 15 goes there this time. So something times a half makes 15. I'm going to divide by a half. If you remember, dividing by a half is the same as doubling. Okay, so divide everything by a half. So 30 is equal to x. So when y is 15, x is worth 30. So that is the next step. You've created your equation, and now it's a substitution exercise to start using it. So what are our steps? Step 1. Write out equation. So something equals k something. Okay. Step 2. Sub in the pair of values. To get a. And 3. Rewrite equation. Okay, so say for example k was I don't know, 5, then you would rewrite it with something equals 5 something. Alright, step 4, use as needed. So if they give you a next step, then you do part 4. If you don't get given the next step, you don't do part 4. Okay, so you need to read the question really, really carefully. But if you don't set up the equation right to start with, the whole question is going to go wrong. Okay, good luck.